Hi guys, it's Lacry, and today I'm going to do a box pleated skirt tutorial. So basically a box pleat is like, let me get my pen out, hold on. It's like, not my pen being white, anyways. So this kind of pleat. This tutorial can apply to a knife pleat as well if you apply the technique correctly. Notice how knife or pleat is like folded over each other, but box pleats are folded over each other but in like a box. That explanation doesn't make much sense, but it is what it is. So let's get started. For this tutorial I will be using my friend Boys Bub's skirt technique, and I already have this top here to mark around where I want to put my skirt. So to start off, you can either use the line tool, or if you have a drawing tablet you can draw it. I personally use a mixture of both, but for the sake of this tutorial, I will be using the line tool. First, make a line going across the torso. Place it wherever you'd like it to fit for your shirt. Then duplicate the line, drag it down. That way you have a waistband. Next, what you're going to do is go to the leg torso area and just do a slanted line across. It can have more curve if you'd like not that much curve, but it can be as curvy as you want, but I prefer making my skirts a little bit slanted, but more on the straight side. So what I'm gonna do is, I have only this much of the line art, but as opposed to going across the full template, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mirror it all rather than constantly mirroring it over and over. Next, determine how wide you want your pleats to be. I think I'm gonna do this way. Keep in mind that it's like double the amount to the center if you're doing it the way I'm doing it. Next, make another line for the next part of the pleat. Try and make it somewhat close to the previous pleat. And then make it look like it's about double of this, the middle pleat. Does not have to be perfect. Continue making the pleats. Personally, on the sides, you can just mirror it, but I personally like to make them like this. little weird. This is how I make mine. Alright. Next thing you do is make a little line going up there. You can also do it the other way, but this is the way I do it. And by the other way, I mean like that. But I think it technically is correct to do it this way. Then again, designing, there is no wrong and right way to do things. It's all subjective since it's art. But if you're aiming for a more realistic or even cartoony, this works. Try and keep them around the same height. If not, it's fine. And just erase the bottom so it looks like it has a little ping to it. Once again, this technique was developed by my friend Boys Love. Alright. You can mirror it now like however you want, unless it might be easier though to continue doing it right here. But what I'm gonna do is mirror it, just so you guys can get the full effect. So I'm going to remove this shirt now, since I don't need it anymore. Next, color. Normally, eye color. So I just wait. What color should I do? I'm gonna do this red. Duplicate the line art, and then turn it to the color by using an alpha lock. I think it is. Let me see. Lock transparent pixels. Yeah. Okay. And then I fill this up. I personally prefer coloring by hand opposed to using other methods because I can get a cleaner look. For skirts, it's exactly the same as it is on the front to the back, unless you would like to change the shading. But I personally just keep the shading the same. You because it makes it consume less time and it just looks better in general. Alright, I'm going to do my line or my color swatch real quick and get an idea of what kind of I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways. I'm going to multiply that. Yeah. Okay, I'm using the multiply mode. And I'm just going to shade with this darker red. I'm going to turn on, there's a symmetry ruler. So basically I can do like that. First thing you want to do is make these darker. Next step would be to drag this like across to shade it. It can be a little bit on the waistband just to give it a little more depth, but it should also be down here. Next, I'm going to work on the waistband a bit more, give it some shading at the edges, just because this is ROBLOX, and then do a line or two down the middle to give it a sense of, oh, it's kind of tight because it's elastic. Then I will take the eraser on like a light hardness, the soft eraser, and erase it. I forgot to mention earlier, but I'm using an airbrush for this. Next, you're going to want to put a little line down the middle of the middle pleat, like this. Continue doing something like that on your other pleats. It does not have to be exactly the same. They should be different, if anything. Now I'm going to take that eraser and just clean them up a bit. Make them a little more transparent. You can also use this fingertip or smudge tool or blur or whatever the heck you want to use. This is personally what I like to do for skirts. I feel like airbrush is much better suited for this. I'm personally using Clip Studio Paint for this tutorial, but this will work on GIMP, Paint.net. I think it will work on Fire Alpaca and Medibang. Oops, I accidentally merged it all. Okay. Hopefully this works on IBS Paint too. I know everyone likes to use a different program. Merge these together. And then I think I'm going to keep it around the same 100% opacity as it's a pretty close color. Next, I'll add highlights. For highlights, I personally like to use the layer mode called Add Glow. It's basically the same thing as luminosity. And then I like to start with it around the middle in terms of opacity. And And then I just kind of go around like the rim of the skirt pleat. I don't know if that makes sense, but this. You can use overlay or whatever you want for the layer mode. I just personally like to use add glow is what it's called. Continue doing it like this and make sure you can see a little bit of the line down the middle. I'm trying to figure out, I think I pasted this wrong, hold on. Yeah, I did. Let me turn on my modifier. Also, here are some examples. I'm gonna turn this back to multiply. Okay, now I'm gonna continue highlighting. And then I'm going to highlight the waistband. Now I'm going to quickly turn that up to a normal. But I normally keep it like that, then change it back to get the vision. You can also use some eraser if you don't like these. And then I'm going to change it back to the correct layer mode. Oh, not overlay. And then I'm going to lower the opacity. Next, I'm going to add just a little bit more shine to it. This is more of an optional step. What I notice a lot of popular designers do is they highlight with white lines on the edges of their designs. You can use thicker lines to make it more painterly, but for this I'm just going to use thin lines. And then I'm going to put some on the waistband. I'm only going to put it along the top though. You can put it along the bottom like that if you want, but I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to take my pencil. This is also optional, but I think it looks better when I highlight around the lines and down the middle of the pleat. Now what I do is I take the soft eraser and erase a bit of the lines down the middle. I try to make it still faintly visible. there. And we are basically done. Personally, and just in general, I'd add texture after this. So for texture, this, like, you can use whatever image or whatever you want. But for people who have Clip Studio or like custom brushes, I'm going to use cross hatching to add a little bit of texture. I overlay it just so it gets like a different color. Lower it down. You can also use gauze and friction. I'm going to open up a texture trio thing I have that only me and my friend use. Put it on there. Lower it. So this texture consists of noise and like fabric textures. And there we go. You can add stuff to your skirt now, such as little lines at the bottom, for example, like it is on this skirt, bows, or any sort of accessory you'd like. Thank you for watching, and remember to, if you're using the advanced template, you'll have to transfer this. Goodbye.